I use a cane to get around, but I don't know, something clicks in my brain when I have a haul of books and some music that I can dance to. It's like something happens.
Yo te traigo esta bomba puertorriqueña.
Aloha and welcome back to my channel, the Baby Boomer Booktuber, with me, Marilyn Maya. Today I have a book haul. Actually, the book haul was much bigger than this, but I decided to split it into two. And I'm going to talk about some of the books I picked up during the quarantine. Usually I go to the library, but our library is closed now for quite a while. In fact, we're going to close down for good by Thursday for 2 weeks. So I guess I'm back to buying books, and I've been trying to buy books that aren't too expensive. Today I'm going to talk about some books that I've hauled. One is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. Now, I've read a lot of books by Ruth Ware from the beginning, and I was very disappointed in her endings. Some people say that endings aren't important, but to me they are. And when I went through a whole book and her ending really was terrible, I was going to give up on her. But I was assured by a lot of the booktubers out there that this one she got right. So I started reading it, and so far, well, it's sort of like in letters, which I don't care for, but I'm giving it a chance because the writing so far is pretty good. Okay, the next book, and one that I spoke about in my first video, The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. This is one of the best sellers out there right now. And it's about agoraphobia, which I'm very familiar with since I have it. So I have to say, so far I'm not liking it. I read about 50 pages and I'm not liking the main character. And I'm not sure why yet, but it seems that she has all of the symptoms of agoraphobia without really having agoraphobia, if that makes any sense. But let's give it a try. Now I want to talk about a favorite author. Her name is Josephine Tey, and a long time ago I read The Daughter of Time, and I loved it, but I can't remember because it was like 30 years ago. And I read an article about her that really made me want to do this video, and I'll talk about that in a little while. But The Daughter of Time, I would say, is one of her best known books, so I would pick it up, and I'm probably going to do a review about it. Then I picked up some new books. By the way, The Daughter of Time, this edition, is very old and it's not very pretty. But the new editions I picked up are really, really gorgeous. I mean, look at this picture. The Franchise Affair. I mean, green, a bed. I mean, this is great. And this is actually, I read, was based on a true story about a very rich family who accused their maid of something during the 18 something. And Josephine Tay decided to write about it, and it was great. I read this book, so I can very much vouch for it. Now, I'm starting to read Shilling for Candles. Now, isn't this a wonderful cover, too? It shows the beach, and I live in Hawaii, so I really, really love covers that have pictures of beaches on them. And so far, it's also about Alan Grant, who's the detective in all of these stories. And a woman's body washes up on an isolated stretch of beach on the southern coast of England. And Scotland Yard's Inspector Alan Grant is on the case. Sounds good. Which brings me to talk about Josephine Tay as a person. She was a very unusual person in that she was sort of an agoraphobic, or at least she was not wanting to be in public at all. And that's sort of social anxiety, which I don't happen to have. But she was really private. She kept her life private. She didn't have any relationships that anyone can find. But I read something about her in Vanity Fair. And what I read was that she would stay in bed looking at the ceiling for hours on end. And she would do that the whole day. And one day, one of her few friends asked her, well, what were you thinking about all that time? And she said, absolutely nothing, and it was glorious. And I really took that to heart, and I said, I've done that too, and I really loved it. So when I went back to The Daughter of Time, I noticed in the first page, Inspector Grant is in the hospital looking at the ceiling, and he's making all these pictures in his mind about what all of these swirls look like, and he's comparing them. And I'm thinking, oh, so this is what Josephine Tay was talking about. Which brings me to what I want to speak about, and that's how sweet it is to do nothing. In Italian, dolce far niente. Now that's a very interesting concept and very unfamiliar to American people because we're workaholics usually. I wasn't so much, but then I was very odd, but I wasn't really a workaholic. We're always so busy. We're busy doing things, and we don't think that doing nothing is sort of living in the moment. And since the lockdown, I've been living in the moment, and I love it. I've been reading more. When I suffered from agoraphobia and panic attacks on a daily basis, I lived in a walk-in closet practically all the time. I even raised my kids in there, coming out when needed. And I wasn't doing anything in the closet. I was just thinking of poetry, thinking of my pain, writing down my pain sometimes. And I healed by doing nothing. So I really recommend Dolce Far Niente. And I think that during this quarantine, if everyone would think about the sweetness of doing nothing, just one thing that they can do. Maybe it's praying or meditating or listening to music and just relaxing. I recall a story about a foreign exchange student, and she was visiting Italy, and she had so much to do because she was studying, she had to go here, go there, and she asked the son of the family, well, what are you going to do today? And he said, I'm going to visit my friend. And she said, what else? And he said, you Americans, you always have to have everything planned out. All I know is I want to visit my friend, and that's all I have planned for today. So my friends, in conclusion, What is your dolce far niente? What do you do to find pleasure and sweetness in doing nothing? Please comment and please like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you and aloha.